That is more than $50,000 of investing and growth over the last 4 years. I am so proud of myself. You guys already know what's up. We are in the kitchen making a rich bitch matcha because today we are going to be talking about money. I feel like this is the ultimate money video for me. This is a video that I've been making for a couple of years now. I always feel nervous every time I sit down, make a drink, and film this video. But without further ado, you guys, this is the highly anticipated, much awaited, and slightly overdue 2025 update on my journey to a net worth of 100K and an in-depth look at everything that I have in my bank accounts at 28 years old. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys. This is the 4th year in a row of making this video. Everything that I have saved, invested, and total debt, this time at 28 years old. I don't know what's wrong with me, but when I was 25 years old, I sat down on my office floor and decided to film a video all about what was actually inside my bank accounts, just to give a realistic perspective of a young professional, a young person, and their bank accounts. Ever since making that video, it's kind of become an annual tradition. I'm happy to share these numbers with you guys, not in any way to brag or to give yourself a basis of comparison, but just to show you one individual person's numbers. I say this every time I film this video, but I don't want anyone to sit down and compare themselves to me. There are gonna be people who have way more money in the bank than me, and there are gonna be people who have way less money in the bank than me, and everywhere in between. That is life. We are all different, and we are all on our own financial journeys. My name is Zoe, and here on my channel, my goal is to help inspire you guys to live your healthy and wealthy best life. So that means taking care of yourself and taking care of your finances. I try my best to make personal finances feel fun and approachable, kind of just like a FaceTime call with your bestie. So imagine you sat down with your bestie and was like, hey girl, what's in your bank account? And imagine she actually told you. That's what I'm gonna be doing today. From 25 years old to 28 years old, a lot has changed in my life. A lot has stayed the same. I think it's so interesting to see how my bank account and my investments and my debt reflect those changes. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the numbers that I had when I was 25 years old, 26 years old, 27, and then sharing the current updated number here at 28. When I started filming these videos, my intention was also not that this be a declaration of my net worth. Obviously, anyone watching could add up all the numbers if you want to watch with like a calculator next to you. And I always gave people the option to do that. Like, I'm telling you my numbers, it's not like it's a secret. But up until about a year ago, I had never actually added up all of my numbers because I was terrified of the term net worth. So I wanted to talk for a second about that term, why I was scared of it and why I'm not afraid of it anymore. To put it really simply, your net worth is adding up all of your assets, all of the money that you have, and all of the things that you possess that are worth money. So for example, the equity on your home, if you have a valuable car, if you have any valuable pieces of jewelry or handbags, watches, I guess anything essentially that you could trade in for money can be counted towards your net worth. From that, you will subtract anything that you are owing, any debt that you have. So car loan, student loan, mortgage. It basically gives you a number of how much you're worth. And you guys have probably heard of people speak about high net worth individuals and like the Forbes and the net worth. And it can feel really overwhelming. At the end of the day, I want you guys to remember it's not that deep. That's what I had to tell myself, and that's what helped me get over the fear of the term net worth. Somebody actually commented on one of my videos and was like, if you don't like the term net worth, just call it net assets, because that's pretty much what it is. So I started calling it that for a while, and then I really just got over any sort of attachment, any sort of emotional attachment to the term net worth. Now, another reason why I was afraid of that term is because when I had debt, when I had a lot of student debt, I felt like I was worthless. And I've spoken about this so much, but my debt really made me feel powerless and it made me feel worthless. I felt like because I had negative money to my name, I was a worthless person, which is so silly and so not true. But once I paid off my debt and once I started, slowly but surely building wealth, building my savings, whatever you want to call it, I was like, oh, I don't want to associate my self-worth to how much or how little money I have in the bank. I felt like that would be really unhealthy. I can confidently say that I do not associate my self-worth to whatever number I'm going to tell you at the end of the video. If it was $10,000, if it was $50,000, if it was $100,000, if it was $1 million, Like I'm still the same person and it doesn't change who I am. Maybe I'd sleep a little better at night if it was $1 million, but until then, I need to be happy with who I am. And I want the same for you guys, genuinely. The other thing that I genuinely want for you guys is to get over any fear, any limiting beliefs that you have as it pertains to growing your net worth, taking care of your personal finances, being that person who cares. It is cool, it is sexy, and you can do it. If you take one thing away from my video, let it be that, because the more we care about our finances in a healthy way, it really, really does have the power to improve our lives. And I am a firsthand, not definition, but I'm a firsthand example of that. And it started raining. So if you want to start your journey towards growing your net worth, you need to start tracking your net worth. And this is something that I did not do for the longest time until I got over that fear. And I started using this product from the line called the Net Worth Tracker. The line is the sponsor of today's video. I'm so excited to be working with them because their net worth tracker is simply amazing. Let's head over to my desk and I'll tell you a little more about it. So this is the Net Worth Tracker from the line. I am currently showing you guys a sample because I don't want to spoil the surprise of my actual net worth. But I want to show you guys how it works because this is such a powerful tool for anyone who wants to track and grow their net worth. It's very, very simple and each year operates in one single tab. This is a direct download from the line's website and opens up in Google Sheets. So all you need is a browser to make this work. A lot of people look at this and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have the Excel skills to operate this. No. All the hard work is done for you. All you have to do is fill out these numbers. Just take them from your bank account or your investing app, whatever it may be. So let's go through it. Right here in the top left corner, you have your current net worth. This is auto-populated from everything that you input throughout the other cells. Up here, you have your goal net worth. So you get to go in and update this. Maybe your goal net worth is $1 million. Maybe your end goal is $1 million or even more, but I recommend starting small and setting your goal to be steps along the way. So starting with 10K, then maybe 50, then 100, building your way up from there so that your goals always feel attainable. And then every time you accomplish a goal, you get to move on to the next one. Personally, I would rather see that I am 53% of the way towards my goal rather than 5%. This graph here shows you how your net worth is fluctuating throughout the year. This is a snapshot of your portfolio, so it shows you where the bulk of your wealth is coming from. Now going down here, this is the part where we will be actually working with. If you come over to the left, this is where you get to list out all of your bank accounts. Every month you can come in and update what those accounts currently sit at. It will give you your total for the month, and then this total will contribute to your current net worth. The next section is your investments. Once again, you'll hear me talk about this in the video. This next section here is for other assets. So if you want to, you could include your car, you could include any watches, jewelry, handbags, could include your home. And then the last section is your debt. So any student loans, car loans, consumer debt. If you are carrying a balance on your credit card, you'll want to input it here. The formula will calculate them as a negative and subtract any debt from your total net worth. At the bottom, you get a picture of your total assets minus your total debt, which gives you your net worth, but it's more fun to look at it up here. What I love about the Line's products is that you get to use this year over year. When the year is up, you do not need to buy a new net worth tracker. You'll just right click, duplicate, delete the numbers for the upcoming year and start all over again. So the longer you use this, the more you'll be able to see your growth year over year. You guys are about to see in the video, but it has been so cool tracking my savings and my debt and everything since I'm 25 years old. I can't wait to look back when I'm much older and see the progress that I've made. And all of that is only possible if you track it. So check out this net worth tracker from the Line. It is such an affordable investment in your personal finance journey. And to make it even more affordable for you, you already know I have a code, it's Zoe10. That will save you 10% off your purchase of the net worth tracker. You can also go ahead and grab a budget tracker while you're there if you haven't already. Thank you so much to the Line for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into my amounts. So we're gonna start out this video nice and simple with my savings accounts. I know some people will include the amount that's in their checking account in their net worth, but for me, that number changes all the time. So I just put $10 there and I don't really think about it as it pertains to my net worth. I have a savings account with my bank that has $500 in it. I don't really contribute to this savings account. I actually just keep the $500 there so that I get a discount on my monthly banking fee. A savings account that is very important to me that is also within my main bank is what I call my 1 month ahead account. This is something that I started doing a couple years ago, and basically the goal is to have my rent and my variable expenses all saved up before the month comes to a close. That way, when the first of the month is here and it's time to pay my rent and it's time for me to withdraw my cash budget, I'm not like scrambling looking around, how am I going to make up that money? So throughout the month, I will contribute to this account. Now, the goal amount of this account is between $1,875 to $2,000. Lately, since I've been restructuring the way that I work and the way that I manage my finances, in case anyone's new, I'm self-employed and I have basically 3 different jobs. It's been a little bit more difficult to get 1 month ahead every single month, but it's still a goal of mine. I currently have about 1,500 in my 1 month ahead account. But again, I wouldn't really count this number towards my actual net worth calculation. What I do count towards my net worth though is my emergency fund. So when I was 25 years old, I had $12,000 in my emergency fund. I do believe I took most of this out to put towards buying a car. So when I was 26, I had $4,000. Then at 27, so about a year ago, I did build it back up to $10,000. I have since dipped into that account and it currently sits at $8,929. $10,000 is my goal number for my emergency fund. So my goal is to pay it back and refill it all the way to 10K. It's just a number that makes me feel secure. It's like, okay, if anything were to happen, I have $10,000 saved up. If you're starting your personal finance journey, if you watch this video and you're like, damn, I want to get going. Once you've paid off your debt or as you're paying off your debt, I think an emergency fund is an amazing place to start. It's a large goal, but it's attainable. And I promise you, you will sleep better at night having an emergency fund. This was a real game changer for me. In my previous videos like this, I have spoken to you guys about my taxes savings account. Because I am self-employed, like I spoke about, the government doesn't take taxes automatically off my paycheck, or my employer doesn't take taxes off. So I am responsible for taking a percentage off of my own paychecks every time I get paid and putting them into a separate savings account. I use Wealthsimple for this because it has a higher interest than my bank. You guys, I will link Wealthsimple down below. You're gonna hear me talk about them all throughout this video. They are my main banking and investing and crypto trading platform. I love Wealthsimple and I do have a special code. So if you use my link, if you're a new customer, as soon as you put in $1 or more, you will get $25, which is really fun. You can take that $25 and buy a little stock with it or put it into a fund to start your investing journey, put it towards your emergency fund, whatever it may be. Oh yeah, and my emergency fund is also with Wealthsimple. I don't invest my tax savings because I need access to them right away. Like when the time comes to pay my taxes, I need the money there. So I don't invest it. I don't put it into a TFSA. I don't put it anywhere except a savings account that I can access at any time. But at least with Wealthsimple, it's earning a higher interest rate than it would with my regular bank. So I currently have $21,900 in my tax savings account. That being said, I do not count this towards my net worth because this is not my money, it's the government's money. If I end up owing less taxes than what I've put aside, I will invest the remainder of this money. So that's like my form of a tax return, I guess. This account is very fun. It's my vacation sinking fund. So throughout the year, as I prepare and dream of going on trips, it's something that I love to do, and I'm very fortunate to have been on so many amazing trips and to continue going on so many amazing trips because I save up for it. So I have a special checking account with Wealthsimple. Again, it's earning that higher interest rate that I will put money into, and I call it my vacation sinking fund. This currently has $2,500 in there, and I would count it towards my net worth. That being said, I am gearing up for a trip to Greece, so this is gonna go way down because I need to pay my stepmom back for the tickets. And then I'm gonna spend money when I'm there. But when you save up in advance for a vacation, it allows you to go on this vacation completely guilt-free. Chef's kiss, amazing, highly recommend. I have other sinking funds. I will make a separate video going into detail about all of those different funds. But in total, they currently add up to $1,055, and I will count this towards my net worth. The last thing, you guys, this is really fun. Over the months of April and May, I put together a little mini savings challenge for myself. The reason I did this was to reignite my passion, energy, drive for saving money because I had been in a bit of a slump, like honestly from New Year's 2025 to a couple weeks ago. I just wasn't feeling motivated, and I wanted to get back the drive that I had when I was paying off my debt and building my emergency fund. Now that those goals have like pretty much been hit, I feel like I lost my motivation a little bit, because without a concrete goal, it felt like I was just saving and investing into the void, and it felt so big and it didn't feel very tangible. So I wanted to set a little small savings goal that was difficult yet potentially attainable. So I told myself that I would like to save $2,000 in 2 months. Now that is a lot of money for me. Usually I hover around the $500 a month range for kind of saving, investing. So $1,000 a month, 2K in 2 months is a lot. I'm so happy to say I am almost at my goal. The month of May is almost over, so I'm $200 away. I am convinced that I will hit this amount. And I'm gonna count this towards my net worth. So I currently have $1,800 in this savings account. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna split it up between my sinking funds and my investments, but it's just sitting there right now, and I'm really proud of myself. Now let's move into my investments. This is where things start to get a little more juicy, a little bit more interesting. I think a lot of people can feel afraid of investments, and I feel like there is this kind of masculine undertone to investing. I love that that is changing. I love that more girls and women are talking about investing, because it's so important. Investing is where you allow your money to work for you. It's where you put yourself in a position where you are able to earn interest on your money, and you're able to earn more interest than if it was just in a checking or a savings account. So there are so many different ways to invest. I like to keep it simple, and like I said, I use Wealthsimple for actually all of my investing. Actually, that's not true. I do have a couple accounts with Manulife, but the bulk of my investments are with Wealthsimple. So let's start with my funds, okay? Funds are a basket of investments that are managed by a group of professionals at whatever institution you choose. So in this case, my funds are managed by the pros over at Wealthsimple. You invest into this fund, and they do all the work for you of diversifying your portfolio, choosing what to invest in. They literally do all the hard work for you. If you are just getting started with investing, this is where I recommend getting started with funds. You can sign up with Wealthsimple. You'll get your $25 credit. Take a quiz, which is mandated by the government of Canada, and basically assesses your risk tolerance based on your age, based on when you'll need the money, and just based on your own personal preferences. That will dictate what type of fund your money is invested into. If you're saving for retirement and you're quite young, you might be able to take on more risk. If you're saving for a house and you're gonna need the money in the shorter term, you're gonna take on less. It's very interesting, but they will figure it all out for you. So I live in Canada, which means we have access to the TFSA, the RRSP, and the FHSA. There are definitely other ones, but they're not relevant to me right now. So let's talk about my TFSA first. That is the tax-free savings account. This basically allows you to invest your money and earn interest in a tax-free way, which means you don't pay taxes on the interest that you earn. When I was 25, I had $6,600. When I was 26, I had $6,491. When I was 27, that went up to $7,000. And right now at 28, it's at $8,000. You guys can see that over the years, this hasn't grown tremendously. Since I was 25 years old, I have put money into it. I have never taken money out. These numbers will fluctuate with the stock market and just the economy overall. But I would say that this investment, this TFSA fund, is not my priority right now. The next fund that I have is my RRSP, which is my Registered Retirement Savings Plan. This is another Canadian government incentive. In this one, the money that you invest gives you a tax break. So it lowers your taxable income by the amount that you invest. There's caps and there's limits, and it all depends on your individual income and how much you've contributed. You can look on the CRA's website if you're confused, and you can always speak to a professional. When I was 25, my RRSP fund had $4,400 in it. At 26, it went up to $12,000. Through my own contributions as well, mostly through my own contributions. At 27, that more than doubled, and I had $30,000 in this account. I actually can't believe it. Like, when I look at the growth, you guys, it's insane, and I have worked so hard to contribute to this account. This was my priority for a long time. I just told you the TFSA was not my priority. This was my priority for a long time. $56,993, so almost $57,000. That is more than $50,000 of investing and growth over the last 4 years. When I look at it like this, I am so proud of myself. This is why this is such a cool exercise, and why I highly recommend tracking these numbers and tracking your net worth. Because on the day to day, it might feel like you're not making progress. You might feel like you're not as far along as you would like to be. But at the end of the day, the only person you should be comparing yourself to is your previous self. And from age 25 to age 28, more than $50,000, like, that's insane. I would never remember that. I would never be able to recognize that if I wasn't tracking these numbers. So thanks for these videos. But now I have the net worth tracker. So even if you don't make videos like this, you can track it on the net worth tracker. The last fund that is out there, and I want to speak about it because it is such a good investment, is the FHSA, which is the First Time Home Buyers Savings Plan. Something like that. This is another initiative from the Canadian government. I wish it was around when I was 18 years old because I would have loaded that thing up. Unfortunately, I'm not eligible for the FHSA. I have like $700 in one, and then I learned that I wasn't eligible. But if you are eligible, use this account because it is a fusion of the TFSA and the RRSP put together. Literally the best of both worlds. Do it. Let's turn up the heat a little bit and start to talk about stocks. I feel like when we think of investing, we actually think of stocks right away, and we think of like the bros and the stocks and like Wolf of Wall Street vibes. This is not that. And you don't want it to be that, okay? For the everyday layperson, stocks should be relatively simple. For the everyday layperson, you do not want all of your money in one stock. Let's say you are the biggest fan of Lululemon. You do not want all of your money and all of your investments in Lululemon, because if something bad happens to Lululemon, something bad is happening to your money. We want to diversify our stock portfolio, and that is why funds are so great, because the pros are over there diversifying your portfolio for you. That being said, it can be fun to play around with individual stocks. To me, I see this almost as gambling. I do not think that I am going to get rich off my stocks. People like to tell me that I'm wrong for that in the comments, but I don't care. Guys, I literally studied finance in school, and I know that the odds of the everyday person getting rich off of their stocks is like, it's not happening. The more you know and the more research you do, the better your chances are of growing your money through individual stocks. But if you don't have time for that and it's not your full-time job, I don't blame you. I have fun with stocks by investing in companies that I enjoy. So I do enjoy Lululemon. I am invested in Lululemon. I like Aritzia and I'm invested in Aritzia, but not all of my money is in those companies. The classic ones are like Google and Apple. And yes, people who put a bunch of their money into those stocks a long time ago are doing very well, thank you very much. But these are anomalies and not everyday occurrences. So when you invest in stocks, you can also have the same government issued investment accounts like the FHSA, the TFSA, and the RRSP, among others. So I do have my stocks invested in those types of accounts as well. Let's talk about my TFSA first. When I was 25, I had $136. That went down to $117 at 26, $116 at 27. I wasn't really touching these. I kind of invested a little bit when I was around 25, and then I stopped touching it. Most recently, I personally have decided to invest in ETFs, and those count kind of as stocks. So ETFs are like a fund, but you purchase them as a stock rather than as a fund through your bank. ETFs are not managed by Wealthsimple, they're not managed by RBC, they're not managed by TD, they're managed by other companies. You have American ETFs, Canadian ETFs, and I'm assuming you have ETFs for every country out there. I like to invest in Canadian ETFs, and I've gotten questions about which one I invest in. I just don't feel comfortable sharing my exact investments with you guys because I don't want anyone to just copy me and then get mad at me if something tanks, okay? So do your own research as it pertains to the stocks. I don't mind telling you I'm invested in Lululemon because I literally have like 20 bucks in Lululemon type of thing. So at 28, my stocks, because of this ETF strategy, now sit at $4,965. For my RRSP, when I was 25, it was at $0. At 26, $2,500. At 27, $1,941. And it now sits at $2,416. So that's it for my stocks. Let's turn up the heat even more and start to talk about crypto, you guys. I low-key love crypto. I am not like so into it, but I'm also not afraid of it. I like to see stocks and crypto especially, as for fun. I am not expecting to get rich off of crypto, at least not right now. And again, some people are gonna tell me I'm wrong for that, but I don't know. Of course, you can experience very high gains with crypto, and we saw a lot of that a couple years ago, you know, like the crypto bros driving their Lamborghinis, and I'm happy for them. I really am, but I feel like I'm a realist when it comes to investing, and I'm not like dreaming of driving off into the sunset with my Lamborghini because of my Bitcoin. When I was 25 years old, I had $0 in crypto. At 26, I think I put in about $200, and that grew to 227. At 27 years old, that grew to 634. It's actually been so interesting watching my crypto go up and down. It completely tanked for a long time. It actually might have tanked between 25 and 26. I don't even remember what my initial investment was, but it wasn't very much. So it completely tanked, and I've actually been watching it go back up. I did put a little bit more money into crypto, maybe $100 to $200 this year. And now my total crypto stands at $1,831. So again, this is such a small part of my overall investing portfolio, but it's fun, it's interesting, and I see it as a learning experience. The next area that I want to talk about is debt. Debt is something that I am so passionate about because I experienced it firsthand. When I graduated university at 22 years old, I had about $40,000 in student debt and debt associated with being a student. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the video, I felt worthless. I hated my debt. It was such a sore spot for me, but I kind of turned that around and worked extremely hard to pay it off as quickly as possible. After paying off my student loans, I did go into some consumer debt, and I also did have a car loan. For me, I just want to live my life debt free. The only debt that I want to have is a mortgage, and that's just my personal philosophy and way that I want to live my life. When I was 25, I had $14,500 in debt. When I was 26, that went down to $5,111. Zero at 27, and it still sits at zero here at age 28. Until I buy a home, I just don't even want to. No debt. It's just, I always say that working so hard to become debt free is the best gift that I have given to myself, and I stand by that. I do not want to go back into debt. Now, at the beginning of the video, when I gave you guys my definition of net worth, I mentioned that you could also include your car, you could include jewelry, etc. I don't include any of that in my net worth because it is illiquid. Let's say I valued my car at $10,000 and I included that in my net worth. I personally feel like that is me inflating my net worth because I'm not guaranteed to sell my car at $10,000, and it would also take time to sell my car. If you want to include your car, if your car is worth more than that and you're like, yeah, shove it in there, it's really just personal preference. For me, I just want this number to be a reflection of what's really in my bank accounts. If I had, expensive jewelry or anything like that, I don't know, I just don't see that as being part of my net worth. So that's my own personal preference. You get to do what you want. Okay, I just grabbed my laptop. It is time for the moment of truth. If you've been watching with a calculator, I guess you already know. So I am reading right off my net worth tracker. My current net worth today at 28 years old is $87,939. That is so much money. I am so proud of myself. I have worked so hard for this. I also feel like you guys have been a real big part of this journey. You guys have been a part of this in so many ways. First of all is by watching me since I'm 23 years old, struggle with my money and slowly but surely learn how to budget, learn how to manage my money. And yeah, I feel like you guys have seen it all. It's also in a huge part to you guys for watching my videos because that is a source of income for me. It's not something I take for granted. It's something that makes me so happy. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting me. I haven't even talked about this in this video, but my goal is $100,000. That for me is my first big milestone. Last year, I sat down and made a plan to achieve $100,000 in net worth. Last year was also a challenging year for me in that things for me business-wise and income-wise didn't go as planned. They didn't go as well as I was hoping or as well as I had planned. So that did kind of stunt my growth of my net worth, not to mention being in a slump for the last 4 or 5 months. But at the end of the day, 5 months, a year, 2 years, even though a year might feel like a long time, it's actually not in the grand scheme of life. If you're a year behind schedule or 2 years, keep going because that's what matters. According to the net worth tracker, I am 88% of the way towards my goal. That is so close. So I want to hit 100K as soon as possible. I will be delighted if I can hit it before the end of 2025. I feel like I need to make a new and updated planning video of how I'm gonna get there before the end of 2025. So let me know if that interests you. But yeah, here's a snapshot of the final number. It is so exciting, and honestly, I'm just really proud of myself. I genuinely want this feeling for you guys, so let's do it together. Make sure you're subscribed so you can stay on this journey with me. I post personal finance videos every single month, and in my vlogs, we talk about money all the time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, comment a green emoji if you watched all the way to the end. It will bring you good luck, okay? Green for money. I love making these videos. They put me in such a good mood, and I could keep talking forever, but I better let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to The Line for sponsoring. I'll see you guys in my next video.